Hey guys, welcome to the 5 Star Zone. I'm your host Rico Beard, and want to do a little basketball, football remix in this podcast, if you don't mind. First of all, let's go a little basketball. Michigan State basketball played in the State Farm Champions Classic in Madison Square Garden, and quite frankly, I don't know what I just finished watching. Michigan State defeats Kentucky. Number 12, Kentucky. Number 17, Michigan State. Michigan State defeats Kentucky 83-66. Michigan State shot 50% from the field. They shot, let me get this correct. MSU shot 32 of 64 from the field. More importantly, they went 11 for 22 from the three-point line. 11 from 22 from the three-point line. Let me say it from people in the back. 11. I don't know if Michigan State, no, I can tell you right now, they haven't hit 11 three-pointers all season long. I don't know how long it'll take them to hit 11 three-pointers again, but something magical happened tonight for Michigan State where they were on fire early. Believe it or not, Kentucky had a lead of 5-0 in this game, and then Michigan State just turned on the heat, and Kentucky had no answer whatsoever. Watching this thing, the halftime score was 44-27. There was just nothing that Kentucky can do. Mark Fox was lost. There's a couple things. One, this is now their second win over a top team. They beat Arkansas at home, but to go on the road in Champions Classic, I think they were the only team of the four teams between Michigan State, Kansas, Duke, and Kentucky that had a losing record when it came to the Champions Classic. They didn't, and I think they were like all time like 4-13 at Madison Square Garden. None of that mattered tonight. Tom Izzo may have put together one of his best games ever against one of the top opponents. Guys, this wasn't U of D. This was the University of Kentucky. It was led by Jackson Kohler. Kohler going out there, scoring 20 points, 5 rebounds. But even more importantly, other than Kohler, they got bench points. Kurt Tang's 15 points. That's a career high for him at MSU. Trey Fort had 13 points. And Jeremy Fears had 13 assists. He was the maestro out there. Jeremy Fears, I mean, he took a couple shots late, but at one point he had only taken 3 shots. Jeremy Fears was the guy that kept this thing going, and that to watch what that team did. Now after defeating Arkansas and defeating Kentucky, their next biggest test will be during the Thanksgiving weekend, I think next week, going up against North Carolina. And then after that, they get Duke with the Boozer twins at the Breslin Center. I said at the beginning of the year, in a best case scenario, this team can go 2-2 between those 4 games. Man, Izzo is doing something. He's already 2-1. And now you're looking at this team like, okay, with 1 game in a neutral spot and 1 game at home, maybe can they sneak out another victory and at least go 3-1 with those 4 teams? Why are these games important? These games are important when it comes to seeding in March. And look, I know March is a long way away, but trust me, when they're building up that resume, when you're looking at who they defeated, this will help MSU when you beat a ranked Arkansas team, when you beat a ranked Kentucky team, both teams that I think will not fall apart. Now, look, Kentucky it was really a bad game by them. I don't know exactly what happened with them, but their shooting was off. They actually looked like Michigan State in their three-point shooting. They actually looked like, I mean, like Mark Pope, there's Mark, I said Fox. I meant Mark Pope earlier. Pope goes out there and he had the team ready, but then they weren't. Michigan State out-rebounded them 42-28. And like I said, this may have been the most complete game that I've seen from MSU. They kept Ortega Oweh, Kentucky's main guy. He had 12 points. 4 of the guys had 10 points. Michigan State put the clamps down on Kentucky as far as defense goes. And, yeah, if you're a Spartan fan, you got to be feeling good about what you just saw. You got to be feeling good the fact that they went out there, they put the clamps down. And Kentucky shooting, 20 for 57, so little over 33% from the field, 7 for 30 from three-pointers. That's why I said they looked more like Michigan State when it came to shooting three-pointers. So for Tom Izzo, this is a big win for him. I still think the Big Ten is going to be very competitive. We'll get more into the Big Ten games with Purdue. They went to – I think Purdue right now, as good as this game was for Michigan State, Purdue still has the best victory out of the Big Ten schools. They went to Alabama and won on the campus of Alabama, a Bama team that just likes to run it up and down the court. And Purdue was just way too much for Alabama. Purdue still has the best victory of the year. But Coach Izzo, they will take this one over Kentucky, winning at Madison Square Garden, a place where they rarely ever win. Guys, we'll have more basketball coming up because, let's face it, basketball season is getting ready to heat up. Football season is winding down except for a few teams. But, yeah, I mean, once again, looking at this was probably the most complete game that I've seen the Tom Izzo team play against a major team. When they played Arkansas, it was at home. They shot 1 for 14. In this game, they shot 50% from the field and 50% from the three-point line. If you're a Spartan fan, I hope you recorded this game. I don't know if you'll ever see a performance like that again. But, yeah, big win for Michigan State, probably the second best victory of all the Big Ten schools so far. I still give Kentucky theirs, but Michigan State has probably victory number 2 and number 3 so far in the Big Ten. It's going to be a tight race. We're going to have more about that a little bit later on. All right, let's switch gears. College football ranking came out on Tuesday night. It came out at halftime between MSU Kentucky and the Duke Kansas game. Things didn't change up at the top. Ohio State was 1, Indiana was 2, and then you had A&M was 3, but you have a new number 4 team. That's Georgia. It's not Alabama. Alabama actually dropped. They dropped 6 spots. Alabama's sitting there at 10, meaning Bama went from getting a bye to now they're on the road for the first game. Now, a lot can change in the final rankings. I know, guys, we got 2 more weeks, but we can only talk about what's in front of us right now. Bama they lost the game, and man, that hurt them badly. Losing to Oklahoma, it screwed them. They dropped six spots. I didn't think that they would fall that far. Oklahoma, on the other hand, Oklahoma's sitting there at 8. Let me round this out. So it's OSU at 1, Indiana at 2, A&M at 3, Georgia at 4, Texas Tech at 5, Ole Miss at 6, Oregon at 7, Oklahoma at 8. That means that Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Oregon, and Oklahoma would all host a game if the college football playoffs were to start right now. At number 9 is Notre Dame. At 10 is Alabama. At 11 is BYU. And at 12 is Utah. But here's how it goes. Even though they're 11 and 12, BYU and Utah would not be in the college football playoffs because they're still honoring an ACC champion. Guys, watch out for this because I still don't think that the ACC will get a team in the actual college football playoffs, especially if chaos happens. And look, the University of Pittsburgh may be the linchpin to all of this. Pittsburgh could end the hopes and dreams of Miami. And I mean, Georgia Tech still has to play. Georgia, there's so many different variables, but it could end up. You can make the case a 2-loss ACC team is not as good as a 3-loss SEC team. It's not as good as maybe even a 3-loss Big Ten team because the ACC kind of cannibalized themselves. And if a conference is only getting 1 bid, how is that any different from the group of 5? That just tells me that they're lacking. And if they put an ACC team in, it will only be because they needed an ACC conference champion. But the ACC, they're not guaranteed a spot. Just something to keep in mind. The ACC is not guaranteed a spot. But as of right now, The playoffs get rounded out by Miami, who's actually sitting there at 13. They're kind of projecting Miami will be the ACC winner as of right now. And then your group of 5 team will go to number 24 Tulane. And at some point, can we end the fallacy? This isn't March Madness where you get upsets. I think the days of Boise State knocking off Oklahoma are long gone. I don't think we need a group of 5 team. You're rewarding, Tulane. Congratulations, you're number 24 in the country, and you're going to get the brakes beat off of you by Texas Tech because you got to go and play at Lubbock. Good luck with that. It's not going to be a pretty sight. It's not going to be a pretty game. That Texas Tech defensive line will probably end up close to shutting them out. It's a wasted game. It's actually a free square. If you're the number 5 team, it's kind of your consolation prize for not getting the bye because you actually kind of did get the bye, except for your team will probably play close to a half, and then you could go ahead and sit your starters. We need to just end this and if you're going to do the playoffs, just put the 12 best teams in there. When you expand it, put the 14 best teams. Don't get me started. I still think that this is way too many teams. I think 8 will be the perfect spot, but they're never going to go backwards. It's too much TV money, so I'm not going to fight that hill. I'm not going to die on that hill. That battle, that's over. I lost that battle. 8 teams would have been perfect, but we don't need a group of 5 team. What are we doing? What are we doing? But yeah, so your playoff games would be Texas Tech at Tulane. You would have Ole Miss, Miami at Ole Miss. You would have Oregon, Bama going to Oregon, and then you would have Notre Dame going to Oklahoma. Notre Dame at Oklahoma, Bama at Oregon, and I guess technically Miami at Ole Miss. Those are games that I would watch. Those are games that I would check out because I think they would be interesting. The Tulane Texas Tech game, I'd have no interest, and I don't think I would need interest because that game would be over fast. But yeah, right now, Georgia looks like they're playing some of the best football in the SEC. It's going to end up, unfortunately, I don't think that both Georgia and Texas A&M will get a bye. Somebody else is going to sneak in there and steal a bye unless those 2 teams can just separate themselves. And if they both play in the SEC championship game in a close game, I could easily see that team gets rewarded and gets that spot. Maybe they give it to Texas Tech for winning the Big 12. I don't know. We have to wait and see how badly what they do. But yeah, I don't know if you'll see 2 SEC teams in there. And the same kind of goes for the Big Ten. I don't know if you'll see 2 Big Ten teams in there, but because Indiana and Ohio State are sitting at 1, if Indiana wins and Ohio State loses, especially in a close game, I can still see the Buckeyes going from 1 to 4. I don't see them dropping out. But as we said before, still a lot of football to go. And also, I mentioned in another podcast, USC, they're going to be playing their play-in game this week as USC travels to Autzen Stadium to play Oregon. USC wins. I think USC claims a spot in the college football playoffs because they finish at home, or whether they're UCLA. They're in LA playing UCLA, where they both wear the home colors. I love that game. Michigan, I think it will come down to if they beat Ohio State. That would be enough to get a 2-loss Michigan team into the college football playoff talk. Right now, USC sitting at 15, Michigan sitting at 18. So we'll have to wait and see. But USC can make a serious move if they beat Oregon. And Oregon, they may be teetering. And this is a game where, you may have to put Oregon on upset alert. But just watch out for USC, Oregon this week, and then Michigan, Ohio State the week after that. But yeah, that's your college football playoff breakdown. And when you look at it, you got some good games lined up. Like I stated before, I don't think an ACC team will get in, and I wouldn't give a group of 5 team in, put them in there, but I guess it's contractually obligated to kind of do this like welfare. It's like you're helping out the poor. Like, I get it, but this is big boy football. Just let the best teams play. How about that? How about you just do that? And then you would actually have, BYU. According to this, you would have BYU at Ole Miss, and then you would have Utah at Texas Tech. I'd rather see those games. I think those games would be more entertaining. But I digress. That's just the way of the world. That's how things are. Anyway, I thought I would hit you guys up with an impromptu 5-star zone just based off of the events that happened on Tuesday night. Hopefully you like this. Tell your friends, share the video, leave comments. Until next time, I'm your host, Rico Beard. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching the 5-Star Zone.